technique challenge. Hello, everyone. Yay. Melissa is already here. Malika is already here. Sadie, of course, is already here. Going to go ahead and copy this link in. So hopefully if you are on Facebook and if you want your name to pop up on the screen so I can give you some love and give you a shout out, you're going to want to make sure that you click on that link so that you can give this system access to actually who you are. If you are joining us from YouTube, then we can actually see your screen name already, which is an added bonus. But either way, no matter where you are joining us from, I just want to say hello and welcome. If you can, just make sure, if you don't mind, put it in the chat. Let me know where you are joining us from. One, that will ensure that you can hear me. So I want to make sure that you can definitely hear me. But then I'm also just really curious about where everyone is joining us from. So really, really excited about the content for today. We have an amazing, day planned for you. Just wanted to really quick show you all the schedule for the week. So obviously tonight is all about presentation, both in person, on paper, and in your photos. On Wednesday, we're talking about dance. And just making sure that you have the dancer's body and physique and stamina through your workouts and through your eating. And then we're going to get into freestyle and choreography formulas. And we're going to actually be doing some real live demos and everything else. So we just have so much planned for you guys for the upcoming week. As a reminder, you're going to still meet Friday at 8 p.m. Saturday is our bonus day. And then Sunday is our VIP bonus day. So if you want to join us for that VIP bonus day on Sunday, all you have to do is show up on Thursday or at least watch the replay on Thursday. But I recommend showing up live on Thursday for a couple of reasons. One, we're going to let you know how to get in on that bonus VIP day. The reason you want to be there is because we're literally going to open it up for Q&A. So any questions that you have, one-on-one questions, I'm going to answer them for you. Okay. So again, that is our VIP bonus day. In addition, on Thursday, the other reason you want to be there live is because we are going to be announcing our scholarship winner. So $1,000 scholarship winner. So don't forget that is going to be on Thursday and we're announcing that. So you might be asking, how do you qualify for the scholarship? So there are a couple of ways. So first of all, I just want to make sure that you all know showing up live. So check done. You've already done that. So as long as you show up live and you are actually putting somewhere, making a chat, a comment in the chat, whether it's on YouTube or in the Facebook group, and letting us know that you are indeed here live and ready to go, then you are in it to win it. Your name is going to go in and you will qualify one time every time you show up live for our $1,000 scholarship. The other way, doing your score sheet every single night. So every single night, we are going to tell you what you need to do for the score sheet, because at the end of the challenge, you're going to actually have your overall score of how pro cheer ready you are. Remember, total technique challenge. This is your 5-day transformation to go pro. And so by the end of this challenge, you're going to have a score by going through every single day. So as long as you go back into our Prep to Pro Facebook group and just type in your score for the day, you're going to go in. Your name will go into that bucket again. The other way to get in is to simply take a photo, a screenshot, a selfie, whatever it is that you want of this session every single day, every single night. And all you have to do is post it on IG, use hashtag SP Pro Cheer Challenge, and then tag us at Sideline Prep. Obviously, we want to highlight you, so we're going to reshare what you just posted, and your name is going to go into that bowl again to win $1,000 scholarship for our upcoming cohort for our Pro Cheer Playbook program. So we're really excited about this. We really want to make sure that you all know that we are here for you every single step of the way. And one way to do that, obviously, is through these free challenges. Every single night, you're going to learn a lot. There's so much information, so much content that we want to give to you all. But then also, we want to take your learning and your discovery of going pro even further. And so one way we're able to do that is through this scholarship opportunity. Okay, so as a reminder, we want you to stay engaged just like you are doing right now. At the end of tonight's session, I am going to announce our day 2 winner. And that day 2 winner is basically who was active last night, who was showed up live, who went and did their score sheet in the Prep to Pro Facebook group. So we are going to be announcing that winner. And then we're also going to have a winner from tonight's session that we will announce tomorrow. So remember, we are bribing you guys to take those steps to further your goals and to further your dreams, right? We want to basically kind of force you to get with it. We want to force you to level up. We want to force you to step into your greatness. And one way to do that is to be active and engaged tonight and just allow yourself to have this time. There's going to be so much information that we want to share with you. You're not going to be able to remember it all. So make sure that you print out that workbook. Make sure that you have pad, pencil, whatever it is nearby. Eliminate the distractions and just be here with us tonight. Okay. So really quick, we have a lot of people in the house. Hopefully, I don't know if I'll be able to get through everybody, but let's see. Alexis, hello from Alabama. Absolutely love it. Aaron from Arizona. LaRuth is here from North Carolina. We have Pong from Vegas. Jocelyn from Aloha, Hawaii. That's right. So you're where Sadie is. That's awesome. So jealous. Tareya is from Charlotte. Ashley, hello. So super excited to see everyone. Dallas, Texas is in the house. Let's see. Jersey is in the house. So super excited, guys. We really do have a full day in store for you guys tonight. So what I want you all to do is just take a second, because you all can see I'm running at like 100 miles per hour because I'm so excited to be here with you all. But I want you all to just take a second and just take a deep breath. Okay, so just take a deep breath and then exhale. Let's do that again. I want you to inhale. Possibility, empowerment, your future, your happiness, accomplishment of your goals and your dreams, faith in yourself. And I want you to now exhale doubt, fear, overwhelm, thoughts that you aren't capable, negative thoughts, negative people, negative environments, negative situations. You're going to inhale possibility and exhale doubt. Okay. And as we go through tonight's session, and as you kind of hang out with us over the course of the week, I want you to focus on what is possible for you and not at all worry about or focus on what you think you're not capable of doing. Because every single person that we are highlighting and that we are showcasing in our Total Technique Challenge has accomplished their goals, has put doubt, fear, and overwhelm in the back burner, has decided that their goals and dreams were important enough to sacrifice for the here and now for the long-term gain of accomplishing that goal. And if they can do it, and if I could do it, then you can do it, because we're all the same. We're all humans. We're all just people trying to do better, be better, and accomplish greater things. Okay. So if you have any thoughts in your mind that it's not possible for you, I am here to let you know that it most definitely is. I am right now sitting in a studio because I am now the evening primetime anchor for a television station. For years, I let fear, doubt, and overwhelm get the best of me to the point where I didn't even send out demo reels. I was happy being the in-game host for the Wizards and the Commanders and the Mystics and living my life and focusing on sideline prep. I was happy. But deep down inside, I knew I wanted to be here. Okay, look, I wanted to be here in a studio with a green screen and a teleprompter for me. This is where I truly wanted to be. And so finally, I made it happen. And now I'm here. Okay. So if I can do it after being, a pro cheerleader for 11 seasons, then I know that you can do it as well. All right. And I just want you all to remember that every single time there is doubt or overwhelm or anything going in your head trying to stop you from your forward progress. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump in and get to the content. So I want you to grab your workbook. So please go ahead and grab your workbook, because we are going to go through your workbook slide by slide, image by image. And let me see if I can find it. There's so many things down here at the bottom. So let me just get it here. All right. So what we're going to do is go to day 2 of your workbook. Day 1, remember, was all about dance, and day 2 is about presentation in person, on paper, and in photos. So really quick, let me just stop and see if anybody has any questions for me from day 1 before we kind of dive into day 2. I think this might be day 1. Oh, here we go. Day 2. Awesome. Any questions for me? All right, so let's go ahead and jump in. All right, so day 2 is about presentation, both in person, on paper, and in photos. And the reason that we want you to like really focus on your technique in these areas is because this is sometimes the first impression that you are going to give the coaches, the judges, the directors, okay? So how you present yourself, not only in person on actual audition day or at prep classes, but how you present yourself on paper through your application process, your resume, and your photos is very, very important. And a lot of people don't even think about this or don't even concentrate on this element of the audition process. And we're here to tell you that first impressions are everything, okay? So let's go ahead and dive in with day 2 of our workbook. All right, so first impressions, your application, your resume, and your photos are sometimes the first 2 things as that a judge sees, okay? And you want to make sure that you stand out with all 3, okay? So you have to remember that before you're even in front of them at auditions, they're going to actually see, what is it? What is it? Your application, your resume, and your photos, okay? These are, again, something that you submit ahead of time, that they are going to review and look at before you even set foot in or on the dance floor. Okay, so it is really, really important for your application, your resume, and your photos to stand out. Okay, you really want to make sure that you stand out. So here is a pro tip. You want to create your resume in Canva. Okay, and it doesn't have to be Canva, but a tool like Canva, because this is free. It's a free tool that you can use to create your resume. So create your resume in Canva and get your photos professionally taken if at all possible. All right. And sometimes we don't necessarily have the budget for a professional photographer, but if you save up for it, then it's going to make a world of difference. And here's why, guys. I want you to really pay attention to this. During auditions, there's something called deliberations. So after you go out and you've danced and the judges go back and they deliberate and they try to decide who they are going to move to the next round of auditions. Well, the dancing is over. You're no longer in front of them. So what are they going to start doing? They're going to start pulling the applications and the photos that are attached to those applications, and they're going to start looking at those applications. And they have a yes pile for the people that they know are going forward to the next round. They have a no pile for people that they've already decided are not. And then they have that maybe pile. And so they are looking at your pictures during that, trying to decide, should they put you to the left with the yeses, or should they put you to the no, right? With the no's to the right. Okay. And you always want to make sure that you go to the yes. And one way to do that is to make sure that your application, your resume, and especially that photo stands out during deliberations when they are looking at your photos. Okay. So please remember that. All right, so let me just show you really quick, because I think that sometimes having the visual is so much more important to really kind of help this stand out so that you can understand what I'm talking about. So this is a before, basically a before resume. Okay, so this is Sadie's resume. She was nice enough to share it with us. So this is her before resume. This was before sideline prep. I should say, so it's B PCP. So before Pro Cheer Playbook program. Okay. So that is her before PCP, right? This is her after. Now, which do you think is going to stand out between the 2 resumes? All right. So you have this resume here that is nice and colorful, has a lot of information, isn't just, one thing under the other. There's columns, there's icons, there's a beautiful picture of Sadie, her headshot. Which one do you think is going to stand out? Okay, you know the answer. And so this is basically what you can create for yourself in Canva. And it doesn't take that long. You don't need any technical skills to do it at all. Okay, so you've got the before Pro Cheer Playbook, the B PCP, and the after, the A PCP. All right, and we want you to level up your resume so that it looks like this one. Okay, so hopefully that kind of helps you to understand what we're talking about as far as using Canva. So let's go ahead and talk about what your resume should include. And so I really want to make sure that you all jot all of these down. Yes, and I'm seeing a whole lot of comments coming in basically saying that the after one, right, the second one, is so much more impressive, and it most definitely is. Okay, so what should you include in your resume? This is a lot, but it's important. And the reason you want to include all of these things is because you want to show the coaches, the directors, the judges that you are very versatile. All right. So you are obviously going to include your name and contact information. You're going to include your work experience and your dance experience. Okay. And if you don't have dance experience, include your cheer experience. If you don't have cheer experience, include what you're currently doing to help you in those areas. So maybe you're taking a beginner's ballet class, or you're attending jazz classes once a week, or you're part of the Pro Cheer Playbook program, or you're working and doing one-on-ones with Sideline Prep, like whatever it is, include that on your resume. Okay, so that's the bare minimum. You also want to include your community service, your charity work, and your volunteer work. And why? Because that's what you're going to be doing once you make the team. They want to see that you are an ambassador of your community already, and to see that that's something that you're already doing. Okay, so any community, charity work, volunteer work, include that. Your awards and your accomplishments. So that could be with work, that could be with dance, that could be in college, that could be academic, like whatever it is, any accomplishments that you've made, pat yourself on the back and highlight those things. And then if you want to, we recommend a headshot. That is optional. Obviously, you don't have to include that, but we do recommend that you include a headshot as well, just because, again, it is going to help you to stand out and help your actual resume to stand out. So one thing to keep in mind is if any of these sections currently are blank, put a star by them on your workbook and note to self, you need to go do the thing. All right. So what I mean by that is if currently you aren't out there volunteering or doing any type of community work, find an organization that interests you and start. There's no time like the present. Get going, get started on that right now, because then you'll have something to include on your resume. Now, I don't want you to do it just to be doing it for Pro Cheer. Like, find something a cause that you can resonate with, that really means something to you, and go do that type of community service, because that's what first of all, you're going to enjoy doing it. And then second, if they ask you questions about it, you're going to be able to answer intelligently as to why you selected that organization and why you were doing that particular community service activity. Okay, awesome. So I see Sadie is answering some questions for you guys. And if you all have any questions about any of this toward the end, by all means, please let me know. Okay, so here is a pro tip. It's always best to take a headshot and full body pictures. It's always best to take, at a minimum, a headshot and full body pictures. So if you get a photographer, pay for a photographer, or if you have your friend, your boyfriend, your mom, your dad, whatever, going out and taking pictures for you, you want to make sure that you have a nice headshot, but then you have a full body picture. Okay. And this is so important because you don't necessarily know what the team is going to ask for, right? So teams ask for different things. They ask for different sizes of images. They ask for headshots, full body, and even the attire in which you are wearing is important, and you want to change that up. So I would always recommend doing a headshot in something more professional, or maybe a cocktail dress, something very bold in color, something that looks good on your skin. For your full body, same thing. I would do, a cocktail dress, something maybe team related or sporty. You can do your audition outfit. And then I would always have a picture in your actual, what do you call it? Swimsuit. I don't know why that term just slipped my head, but a full body image, either in a swimsuit or workout attire, so that they can see your midsection. And you want to have these just in case, because again, you don't really know what it is that they are going to ask for. So pro tip, always take a headshot and a full body picture and make sure that you change up your outfits. Okay. For that full body, you want to make sure that your midsection is showing just in case. Okay. All right. So that is the first page for day 2. And now we're going to go ahead and move on to day 3. And so this is something else that is super important. So when you think about that first page that we just went over, that really touched on things that you're going to submit ahead of time. Okay. So this is really, that first page is about your application, your resume, okay? Those things which are extremely, extremely important when you are submitting your application to audition, right? So your application, your resume, and then those pictures. So part 1, okay? Now is actual audition time. And so now you are in person. And some things that we really want to make sure that you are mindful of when you are in person, we're going to go over right now. So the first thing is crafting your intro speech. Most teams have requirements about what they want included in your intro speech, but we want to make sure that you are at a minimum prepared with these things. Okay. So number 1, you want to make sure that you include your name. So hello, I'm Janine Samuels. Right? The next thing that you want to make sure that you include is where you're from. Hello, I'm Janine Samuels, born and raised in Richmond, Virginia. Okay. And then the next thing that you want to showcase is something unique about maybe your education or your occupation, something cool that you do. Hello, I'm Janine Samuels, born and raised in Richmond, Virginia. I had the honor of being a professional cheerleader for 11 amazing seasons for both the NFL and the NBA. I was also the in-game host for the Washington Wizards, the Washington Mystics, the Baltimore Brigade, and now I'm the in-game host for the Washington Commanders. In addition, I am the primetime anchor for an ABC affiliate station in West Virginia. Boom. Okay. So at a minimum, you want those 3 things. Okay. So again, your name, where you're from, and then your education and your occupation. And you want to be prepared to really be able to switch things up and edit those things and, kind of craft things in a different way based on the team. Okay. So some teams want your intro speech to be super quick, 15, 20 seconds or less. Other teams are a little bit more open for you to expanding. And if that's the case, then I would add a 4th thing on there. Share something unique about yourself, a fun fact, what makes you stand out. So if you can't figure that out as far as number 3, which is your education or your occupation, what else can you tell them that makes you unique? Like one thing that I used to say is that I had traveled to more countries than states, because that's just very different. Like to have been across the world more than having traveled within the United States. All right. Something that I say a lot now is that I have 3 nieces, 2 nephews, and 7 godchildren. That's something very different, right? So what makes you unique and what makes you different about yourself, right? For me, another thing that makes me stand out, and I forgot the Washington Spirit, that I've been the in-game host for almost every single professional team in the Washington, D.C. area. The only one that I haven't done would be hockey and baseball. And the woman that does baseball now is my close friend that I cheered with during Wizards. But literally, I have hit almost every single league, right? So women's professional basketball, men's professional basketball, football, obviously, in arena football, so the AFL, and now women's professional soccer, right? That's something that is very unique about me. So you really want to think about what makes you stand out and how can you craft your intro speech to help you to stand out as well. And so when we bring on our special guest, I'm actually going to ask him to share his intro speech with you as well, so that you can get a taste of, what one sounds like, what one sounds like to get you on the team because he made a pro team. Do you know what I mean? Because this is super important. Don't underestimate the importance of crafting your intro speech. Okay. So once you are kind of, you've done your intro speech, another component of that in-person part that really is around your presentation is going to be the interview process. Okay. So during the interview process, there are a couple of questions that we really want to make sure that you have a well-crafted response that doesn't sound rehearsed. Okay. So you need to practice it, but you don't want to practice it so much that it sounds rehearsed. Okay. So the first one is, why do you want to be a part of this team? And it should not be because you love dancing and you love dancing. You've been dancing since you were 4 years old, and this is just your favorite team in the whole wide world. No. And this is why, like for our Pro Cheer Playbook program, we hear everyone's intro speech, and then we want to know the answers to these particular questions because it's super important, again, that you're unique. Everyone that's auditioning for that team loves to dance, loves to perform, and likely will say that their favorite team is that team. So you have to set yourself apart. Why do you want to be a part of this team? The next question, what would make you a good candidate for this team? Why should they select you? Why should they select you? There's hundreds of other candidates. Why should you be one of the 40 or one of the 32 or one of the 18? Okay. And then what can you bring to this team? What can you add to our team? Okay, so make sure that you are able to answer those three questions at a minimum. And this part, the interview process, is so important that we literally in our program have a document that is 5 pages long that has tons and tons of questions that we want you to be prepared to answer. So super, super important that you not only can answer questions about you, your why, your desire, your professional experience, your dance experience, basically everything that's on your resume, but also situational type questions. Like literally think about this as an interview, right? You also need to know about the team and their record and how many times they went to the playoffs or the Super Bowl and your favorite player, like all of that. Super, super, super important. Okay. So pro tip, your intro speeches and your responses to interview questions should sound genuine and conversational. So while we do want you to practice and kind of rehearse, you don't want it to sound scripted. You don't want it to sound memorized, okay? You want it to be like you're just having a conversation with the judges and you're just shooting the SHIT, having a good old time, having fun, and just talking to them like they are your girlfriend or your boyfriend, okay? Intro speeches, your responses to questions should always sound genuine and conversational. Okay. And you want to make sure that you share things that no one else will say. Share things that no one else will say in order to help you stand out and be remembered. Okay. Super, super important because, like I said, everyone's going to say they love to dance. Everyone's going to say this is their favorite team. Everyone is going to say, I've been wanting to be a dancer for this team since I was 3 years old. People are going to say all of those things. So you have to figure out a way to present yourself in such a light that they will remember you because your answer and your response was so different from everybody else's. Okay. So super, super important that you really dig deep and you figure out what makes you you. What makes you unique? What makes you stand out? And then your resume, your application, even your photo, believe it or not, but also your intro speech and your answers to the interview questions are going to help you stand out. Because keep in mind that the choreography, everyone has to do the choreography, the actual moves, the same way. They do. They have to do them the same way. It's just how it is. Now, you can add different personality and a different flair to how you perform that choreography, but for the most part, everyone's doing it the same way. Everyone's doing the same across the floor technique. Everyone is doing the same kick combination, okay? What makes you stand out is everything else. How you present yourself on paper. That is what is going to make you stand out. And so you've got to figure out a way to portray how you're different and how you're unique. And you have to share something that no one else will say. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. Because again, the reason we really want to stress this part is that people overlook this part, unfortunately, right? People don't really think about the things before right? As far as application, resume, photo, and all of that. And they don't really think that much about really making sure that once they are in front of the judges and they have to talk, that part of it is good to go as well. Okay. So, what I want to make sure that you all do is go to the bottom of your workbook and fill in for day 2 how you did. Okay, so out of the 6 items you should have on your resume, so we're specifically talking about the 6 items on your resume. How many of those do you currently have on your resume? So, how many do you currently have? Okay, and you will get a point for each of those items. Okay, so go back. You want to make sure that you find the Facebook post in our Prep to Pro Facebook group and you fill that part in, and you will get a total of 6 points. Okay, and as a reminder, it's your name and your contact info, your work experience, your dance or cheer experience, community service, awards, accomplishments, and then your headshot. Okay, so let me stop right there really quick and just see if you all have any questions for me before we move on, because I would love to bring on our special guests. So I am trying to kind of get through all of the things within our workbook, but I want to make sure I'm thorough enough before I move on to the second part of our evening. So let me just see. Oh, Pong, thank you so much. Look at this. I love this community. I'm not as lost anymore. You are so welcome. We love you back. We love you back. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So any questions before we move on? Just want to make sure. All right. So as I'm waiting to see if any questions come in, I am super excited because we do have a special guest tonight. He is actually our very first gent to graduate from our Pro Cheer Playbook program, and he knocked it out of the park. As you can see, he made a professional NFL team. So we're going to learn all about him and all of the amazingness. But I also wanted to just show something really quick, if I can. Hopefully it will work. Let me minimize my big face. Here we go. Let's see. Woo! How amazing is that, right? I mean, golly, I aspire to be able to do those tricks and everything else. And so I just really, I'm really excited to have this conversation. And without further delay, I'm just going to go ahead and bring them on so that we can get this conversation started. So welcome everyone for our day 2. This is Jessie. Hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I am so well. I am so well. So good to see you. I feel like I've been living the best life through your IG and everything going on in your life. How have you been?
I've been good. I'm actually currently in the process of auditioning for my second season right now. Made it all the way through, first round interviews, and now that's left is just training camp and finals. So still working on that. But other than that, I've been really good. I think I'm gonna give it all my all, and hopefully have a year or two. Super excited that Brady's coming back, so that's gonna be fun.
Yes.
Definitely fun.
Yes, well, you will have a year 2. I'm confident of that, and I know you are as well. But it's been a journey for you, right? It's been a journey. Before we kind of talk about your journey becoming a professional cheerleader for the NFL, just tell me, how was your rookie season?
It was so like way more than I expected. It was so amazing. I met so many amazing people. I think I talked about this last time, but I just remember what I thought the experience would be stepping on the field for the first time. And I remember just like hearing the roar of like a full entire stadium just for the kickoff and the cannons shooting. And I was like fighting back tears, and I was like, "You're on camera, don't cry." So it was just a great experience. Every single moment of it was just like way more than I expected. It was just something that was just finally rewarding, because the Bucks was definitely not the first team that I tried out for. I think it was the fourth one. This is a fourth team. So every no, like Janine says, always brings you closer to your yes, and everywhere that you're meant to be will definitely happen. I wouldn't imagine myself with any other team. I'm kind of kind of glad I got denied by the other teams, honestly, because I'm really happy with where I am right now. Um, you know, honestly, I feel like there was no other team that was perfectly fit for me. The style, the athleticism, the fan base, everything was just been so amazing. And I love that uniform. Like, look at that uniform. It's so cute.
I know it is, and it looks so good on you. Let me tell you. And it's kind of cool because it's like there, but then it's also right behind you too.
Oh yeah. That was the locker room headshot. They let us keep it. So I was like, I'm just gonna plop it right there.
And it's so interesting that you mentioned that, right? That you heard no multiple times, but that you're almost glad that you heard those no's. And that's, like you said, I always say every single no gets you closer to your yes, but we probably should modify that, right? So every single no gets you closer to your right yes, or the correct yes, or the best yes. But you sometimes get so obsessed with the no's that maybe you don't make it to that final yes. But it definitely happened for you, and in such a profound and amazing way. I mean, you could tell, like I know I could tell just from your videos, your pictures, your posting, that you literally have had the best life this past year, and that you are living on cloud nine right now. And it shows. It really does. So congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely been a blast seeing how my life was going to unfold. I won't say that it was completely easy. The work definitely starts when you make the team. The first challenge is making the team. The second challenge is learning how to take on the role, mold into the athlete, the performer, the ambassador, because you are taking several roles at one time. Yep. But after this first season, as I just see the growth that I've made, not only as a dancer but as a person, and all the goals that I've made outside of dance and outside of Bucks Cheer. But I'm super excited to give it a second go, obviously. And this team has definitely made me well known that no matter how talented you are, how good you are, there's always going to be room for improvement. Like new skills that I'm constantly learning, new performance values, new ways to communicate with the fan base. And so that just like goes to show that I, regardless of how well of a first season I had, I still have to like step on that gas pedal and show them that I deserve a spot again. So I love a challenge. I feel like that's why I respect and love this team so much, because it's never going to be a comfortable position in the sense of where I stop. Sorry, my teammates are calling me. They just got out of training camp. Mine's on Thursday. I'll get the inside scoop later.
And you probably want to know so bad, like how.
Yeah, I do. I'm like, I'll talk to you guys later. But yeah, it's just it's been a blast, and I feel like I just enjoy kind of having like that fire under my butt, just to like, you can't stop now. This is like, if you really want this, because you have to keep going, and if you want to have another season. So I just really love my teammates. I love the team. I love Tampa. I love, everything that my life that has routed. And I look back and I'm like, this would have never happened if it wasn't for those no's, if it wasn't for, trying out for different teams. But I'm super excited. I definitely feel like I found my team. So.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I love hearing that. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, that's how I was with Washington. I was on there for 8 seasons, and, I had a full-time job the entire time, ended up, going off on my own and becoming an entrepreneur, but it was home for me. It definitely was. And then I thought I was done, and then I wasn't. And so then I obviously went into the NBA, but that's how life happens, right? It just works that way. And I feel like God, the universe, or whatever, gives you the no's, the yeses, the opportunities that are in alignment with who you are and what he knows you want. And that, obviously you are living proof of that. But let's like rewind back to when you first decided that you wanted to go pro, and when you first decided that you wanted to take on this big task. Like, just walk us through your journey of that, preparing that first audition, the no's along the way, finding sideline prep, joining the Pro Cheer Playbook program, and then landing that spot on the Bucks.
So that goes back all the way to 2019. So I graduated to college. I was on the FAU dance team. I was also the FAU cheer team. I was the only, student to do both of those. So after I graduated, I clearly wasn't done yet. I knew the next step that I wanted to accomplish was going to be an NBA or an NFL team. So far, I felt like the NFL was leaning more my way, because I really just do enjoy football. So first team I tried out for was the Dallas Cowboys Rhythm and Blue Hip Hop team. Made it all the way. So of course I flew to Dallas. Well, actually, yeah, flew to Dallas for the first round. Made it to training camp. Road trip to Dallas for training camp, and made it all the way to the last day, and then got cut at the end, the day before they chose their final team. So I remember hearing that first no and just being so confused, but more angry, because it wasn't, because sometimes they won't give you an answer, and there can be a variety of factors along the way, but just because they didn't give you an answer doesn't mean there was an opportunity for you to improve, to bring that someone else brought something that they were genuinely looking for. Now, just because you hear a no, I learned alongside my journey, doesn't mean you're not good enough, doesn't mean you don't fit the brand. What it means is just someone else brought more value, either had a better interview, had more people skills, things like that, that they can see themselves molding quicker to that team compared to another candidate. So the biggest thing I went through going through the progressions of my auditions was definitely comparing myself. There's a word that you have for it. I can't remember it right now, but I
It's
just compared.
compare-itis.
What is it?
Compare-itis.
Compare. Yeah, I had the hugest case of that. Hugest case of that. And I know along my journey, I have so many skills, so many assets, but I would always look at the girl who can do a tilt behind her leg, and I'm like, well, I can't do that. And it's like, I was like steering away of the things that I can do. And it was just, so you start kind of just becoming your own enemy, and get into your own head, and like kind of just neglecting the things that you're really good at is going to be showing in your audition, of course. So that was my first no. And then the next audition I had that same year, I just kind of was just scrambling because I really just wanted to be on a team, but I didn't have a big enough why, I feel. So next audition I went to is the Orlando Magic hip hop team. And as I auditioned for them, same exact thing, made it all the way to training camp, and then got cut the last round. Of course, like when they're going to dealing with several candidates, they're not going to give every single person a reason why. But that doesn't mean, again, that you're going to be, same factors that I went through with Dallas. But I didn't have that mindset just yet, because before I found Sideline Prep, my mindset wasn't where it needed to be, where I saw every perspective, every no, every like, I'm sorry, this is not going to be your season, as the biggest negative, and the biggest, you're not good enough, the biggest, basically every negative thought that you would have for hearing a no, rather than opportunities to grow and to improve. So the next year after that, I was contemplating the teams I was trying out for. I didn't think I was going to try out for a team that year, but then the Patriots auditions came up. So, and I'm a huge Brady fan, and it's just so funny that he went to Tampa that same year. It's just so funny. So that year I tried out for Patriots, and same exact thing, made it all the way to training camp, made it all the way to finals. And right before we were supposed to fly back into Patriots training camp, COVID happened. And when COVID happened, we heard nothing from the Patriots organization until come August. And of course, with every state by state having different demands and different rules, it was just at that point in time, it was such a unforeseeable future, unsure of what was going to happen next. So the safest thing for them to do, of course, was just to take back veterans. But again, that was my third no, and I was just so angry. I was like, what am I doing wrong? But like, even something I couldn't even control, that the world couldn't control, I was just still blaming myself. So, but after that, I clearly, wanted to have, because I was slowly losing motivation as this was going on, gaining weight, losing skills that I had, but I was blaming it on age. I was blaming it on, just like my muscles aging. But I'm like, have never been more physically fit, more capable of doing things I couldn't even do when I was 18. So it's all a mindset for sure. But once I found Sideline Prep, the main thing I needed was accountability. I needed accountability, and I needed to work on my mindset and the way I saw perspective of changing a negative situation to an opportunity to grow. And I think that's why I fell in love with the Bucks so much, because regardless if you can be the best dancer in the world, there's still always something to improve on. So when I made it to sideline prep, I wasn't even looking at the Bucks. I was going to try out for Patriots again. So I was, even though Brady already left, I was like, well, like I made it very far with Patriots. Patriots really liked me as a candidate. I don't know if I mentioned this, but when I first tried out for Patriots, they had a side solo round that if you won that solo round, you go directly to finals. I won it. So I was super excited about that. That was just like that validation there that I needed. So I was scared to stray away from that again. But then Bucks auditions came exactly on the same exact day that Patriots audition was. So I had to make a decision. And I decided on, Bucks was going to be more tangible, attainable, financially as well, because of course COVID hit everyone hard with that, and I couldn't move across the country and be like a-okay. I probably would have been struggling for a little bit. But once that happened, and once I started with the training of sideline prep, the way the timeline landed perfectly, where the program ended and the audition started. So I was just at my prime, my peak athleticism, my peak training. I was working with choreographers like Oscar Hernandez. He saw I was training too. He took me under his wing, started, letting me take his classes. I started getting sideline prepped involved with the sideline classes, learning from all these other choreographers during the boot camp or the workshop that they have. And, I got connected with some amazing choreographers, some amazing directors from all across the country, Colts, Ravens. And they all said the same thing. They were like, why don't you try out for Bucks? And I was like, well, I guess I'm trying out for Bucks now. So I just think it's just the way things work out. It literally fell in like a puzzle piece. And I never felt so prepared for an audition. I came in, and it was one of the hardest auditions I've ever had, if I'm going to be frank with you, because they had training camp and finals in one day. So it was a 6-hour day. First 3 hours were training camp. So you were conditioning like sprints, burpees, crunches, push-ups, mile runs, suicides, things like that, like burning yourself out. You had a 15-minute stretch, and then you ran your prelims routine back to back. You ran your finals routine back to back, and I had some hard skills in there, so I was really scared that I wasn't gonna land those. But everything worked out. Like the adrenaline kicked in. My training has all paid off, and by the end of it, I was seeing stars. But I felt really good about what I put out there. And of course, at my previous auditions, there was like, oh, well, I messed up here. And I was like, oh, I hope they didn't see that. Like, like kind of hoping they looked away or looked at another candidate in the part that you knew you messed up. But I didn't feel that at all. I just felt so prepared. I was like, I hope they were looking at me the whole time, because I did great. So it was a fun experience. And being here, I've just met so many amazing people. From all across the country. Like majority of our rookie classes here are none of them are from Florida. So it's like, it's so cool to meet like so many people that have the same drive and passion as you, that want to improve the program, that want to have more talent come in. Because I don't know if you guys are familiar with Bucks here, like, but we're starting to steer away from the pom pom, which we still do a pom and jazz routine here and there, but they're starting to focus more on a different style of an NFL cheerleader with athleticism, technique and skill being more applied rather than the boots and the palms. So I think that's a amazing twist that they're adding to the field of the NFL. And I was like, I guess I found my team. So that's basically, try to spark notes. It's a long story. I try to spark note it as much as possible. But yeah, that's basically my journey there.
But it's such a, like, I could literally just listen to you for days and days, because it's so like, I think because I saw where you were and now I'm listening to you now, like there really is a huge transformation. And you mentioned it around, your confidence. But one thing that you're talking about, it's like, once you decided on Tampa, it's like everything started to just fall in place. And we were talking about this last night, that that you're living in your purpose, and that you're moving in the right direction when opportunities and things just start like really falling.
Telling me.
Tell them to join us on YouTube.
I need to put my phone on do not disturb so I don't get distracted. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I know. I'm so sorry. Like give me like 15, 20 more minutes, and then
No, take your time. Take your time. I'm committed to this, and I love speaking to all the lovelies, because I remember being in their shoes. So anytime you ask me to do this, I'm like, absolutely. yes, I would love to.
I appreciate it. I just love hearing, like literally love hearing your story just because, everyone assumes, I feel like a lot of people assume that people that make teams, like they tried out their first time and they were just on the team. And it's not like that. It is a journey. It's ups, it's downs, it's yeses, it's nos, it's all of that. And, to kind of just hear, what you went through, so people kind of can understand that it's not always roses. It does take a lot of work, but I love that you mentioned that you were putting in the work, you were preparing, we were working with you, you had accountability, you were working on your mindset, and you were able to actually go into your audition feeling great. And you had a fun experience instead of it being a nerve-wracking
Yeah,
experience, right? And I think that that speaks volumes because when you do go into any situation in life and you're super prepared, you walk in with a different type of energy, right?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, love that. Okay, so for tonight, we are mainly talking about your presentation, right? And so,
Mhm.
obviously, with any professional cheer team, how you present yourself is super, super important. So, what tips would you first give everyone that's listening on that, like phase one part of the audition process when it comes to sending in your resume, your photo, your application? Like, what tips would you give to people?
So, and I'm sure Janine has said this before, but you really have to take the team that you're looking at, look at the hair, look at the makeup, look at the look, but don't completely lose who you are as a person, because then that's going to serve no purpose to you, right? You want to be joining a team that, yes, you have to be a version of that, but you're still being yourself. So of course, the hair, the makeup, everything that applies to that, but I would say your most polished self, apply that forward, and be the person that let's say, for instance, if you're not necessarily there yet, be the person that you want to be and you're working towards, someone who is confident, someone who is well put together, someone who is punctual, someone who is, a hard worker, and things like that. So for that to be seen on paper, it has to be, you have to put time, you have to put effort in it, especially in a resume. I know Jeanine was talking about it in the beginning of this call, but those things are looked at, especially take it in the perspective of being a judge. I've judged some auditions too, where you're watching 500 plus dancers go back to back to back to back. And of course, there's going to be some things that you remember, but not every candidate is going to have, I remember exactly step by step what they did. That's most likely not going to happen. So the next reference that you have is your headshot, is your resume, and all those factors that, you place for yourself. So, you want to make sure you invest in yourself in the way that's going to be beneficial for you. So, of course, invest in your headshots, invest in, if you're not the best at resumes, reach out to someone, ask for help with someone who does have, professional or career driven experience with the resumes. And that's the best way you're going to be able to put yourself on paper, because the first round most likely is just going to be either a freestyle round, or if it's virtual, like ours was virtual, you're going to have 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds to introduce yourself, and then your routine. So what's going to make you stand out to someone that dances exactly like you is going to be that 5 to 10 seconds. You have that amount of time to make a first impression, alongside of what you wear and what how you do your hair, your makeup. All of those things are going to be lasting impressions that they have for what they're looking for in a candidate. So just take the version of yourself that you would see in a uniform and apply it.
Yeah, love that. I mean, and I talk about, guys, the importance of being your unique you. So that's like basically what Jessie is talking about is like, yes, do your research. You want to make sure that you fit within the mold for the most part, but then you also have to show your unique you. And you can do that on paper up front, but then also definitely in person for sure. And so when you are talking about the in-person component of all of the things, one thing that we talked about was your intro speech. So a lot of times, especially for that round one, or definitely, when you're in front of the judges for your interview, they're going to ask you to introduce yourself. So do you remember your intro speech?
Oh yeah, mine was. I always do like something because they like the cute little go backs at the end or something like. So I think I was like, "Hi everyone, my name is Jessie Castillo. I graduated from Florida Atlantic University, and I'm originally from Miami, Florida. Fun fact about me is I was a double team both cheer and dance at FAU, and I was the first male in FAU dance history. I'm super excited for my second chance of auditioning for the world champions. Go Bucks. Excuse that little hiccup there. I was trying to remember what I was saying.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Guys, do you see? So, like, he literally followed the exact same formula. And so, one thing that I want to impress upon you is that this doesn't have to be rocket science. Like, we're literally giving you the fill in the blanks to these things, right? And the other thing that you have to remember is that why go at it alone when you have people at your disposal and different resources available to you to be able to assist and help? And I remember with you, Jessie, you were so good in the Pro Cheer Playbook program about posting videos and getting help and getting feedback on your tricks, your routines, and your look, your makeup, and all of that. Why do you think that that's so important?
Well, in the case of where you are only seeing one perspective, me personally, I am my biggest critic, but of course, it's always fresh to see a fresh pair of eyes that has never, or doesn't, not necessarily never, but doesn't, see your perspective in the sense of your technique, your image, your speech, things like that. It's always great to get additional eyes and additional opinions, so that way you can mold it to be, especially if it's an experienced opinion. Hello, Janine. So so definitely it'll help you get all your ducks in one line and make sure dot your I's, cross your T's. Those things are just going to be little details that are going to make you stand out. That might be a deciding factor between, you and another candidate. So it's just paying attention to the minor details, applying yourself, and making sure that you prepare to make sure that you're going to be successful. And if you do all of those things, the probability of you not being successful is little to none. Of course, I always like to mention, when I coach my athletes doing, cheer, dance, gymnastics, there's always a probability that you might, make a mistake in your skills. But repetition, consistency, applying corrections and drills is going to make that room for error as small as possible. So it can be applied to literally anything in your life. I feel that little tidbit there.
Yeah, I love that. And the thing is, you were one of the stronger dancers in the program for sure. But you always, like you said, even now you're a professional cheerleader and you know that there's always an opportunity for growth and an opportunity for improvement. We say OFI, opportunity for improvement. And so that was your mindset always going into everything that we did. You were like, okay, I'm going to try it out and I'm going to post it and I'm going to get feedback. And you were always leveling up. Another thing that you mentioned earlier that I would love to kind of talk to you about, simply because some people just don't have healthy lifestyles around food and, working out. And that was an area that you mentioned earlier. You were like, okay, well, yeah, I'm not able to hit these tricks anymore just because I'm getting older. But then you realized it was because you just had extra weight that you were carrying with you.
Yeah, he was a little hefty.
So talk about just, that conversation with Jeanette, and then your experience on, losing the weight and then in return gaining that mobility to be able to do the tricks easier and to really turn that into a lifestyle.
Yeah. So for me, especially after, because I think I had this conversation with Janine actually when I started. When I was in college, it was kind of a set schedule of what you had to do. So, and especially when you're younger, your metabolism might be different from when you're older. But besides that factor, I had a set schedule of workouts twice a week, practices 3 to 4 times a week, games on the weekends, appearances here and there. And then, of course, your occasional on your own workout to make sure that you can do the skills that are required to be a collegiate athlete. So with that set schedule already set for me, I didn't have to worry about doing these things on my own or being held accountable. So when I graduated, slowly started drifting away from being consistent in the gym, being consistent in the studio. And it was just over time, of course, we don't really notice it until we notice it. And so when I addressed that with Janine, with Jeanette, she told me exactly what I needed to do to, get to where I needed to be and to start with those many little goals. And I thought that was, it changed things drastically because I wanted the scale to say, 145 in 2 weeks, but that's unrealistic. But what is realistic is hitting those minor goals. And before you know it, you are at your goal weight. And most of the time, I wouldn't even look at the scale because I would just see in the mirror and I would love my muscle definition. I would love the way I looked. That, the scale might say something heavier, but it's just your muscle. It's a healthy body. So In the beginning, I guess it is okay to look at the numbers, of course, until you start seeing that changing your body, changing your shape. And then I wouldn't focus too much on the numbers because, your physique and your appearance are going to say way more volumes than what it says on the scale. So I wouldn't obsess over that. Uh, but it's just definitely going to change your confidence for sure. And the mobility, like the agility, everything all applied to. I wish I would have sent you that video where I was just trying a new skill that I would never thought I would have got. And one day I was like, let me try it after I was doing a concept video for Oscar. I think it's on my Instagram actually. Yeah. And when I got the skill, I was just like, how is this physically? I couldn't even do this at my prime. And I was like, what else can I do? I was just, after that, I was like, Eddie, the sky's the limit. I was just like, it was just crazy for me.
That is awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm sure I saw it. I'm sure I did. I mean, that's the thing, but that's how I felt about almost all of your trick videos that you would post in our Facebook group. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. It looks great. You were always leveling up. You were always figuring out a way to kind of, get to the next level. And even you talking before about networking and connecting with choreographers. And, that is what it's all about. It really is about your presentation that you're putting outward even before you become a professional cheerleader, and you networking and you connecting us with, Oscar, and, like all of that is just so, so important. And people really don't realize the importance of that presentation and that prep work before even going into an actual audition. And then also just like in talking about like the lifestyle of, having a better relationship with food and working out and all of that, how has that helped you now that you are a professional cheerleader?
Absolutely. So for me, typically, obviously I didn't felt it when I was in the transition of, going into healthy foods. But for me now, whenever I, make a mistake, because we all do that every now and then, of eating something that I shouldn't be eating, like a greasy fast food before a game, it really does take a toll on your body. It really does, especially before a 12 p.m. game. Yeah,
You feel it.
It was bad. So but what we're doing on the sideline. I mean, of course, teams work differently, but Bucks cheer. Every single time the play is done, we're dancing. We are dancing. There's a touchdown. Tumbling, jumping, tricking. We do pregame routine. We do a before game routine, pregame routine, quarter timeout, halftime, another quarter timeout. So we're dancing the entire game, and it's kind of just doing yourself a disservice if you're not, giving your body what it needs to keep up with that. Because there's definitely been games where I was like, man, I really shouldn't eat that hot dog or something. So it's just like, you just really you start to learn what your body, works better with. Like, I know for sure if I eat like the spinach or kale salad right before, like I'm ready for that game. Compared to a hamburger. So it's like it's definitely something that, and it doesn't mean that you can't have your your sweets or your desserts, but just definitely at a limited portion. And that was the biggest thing for me, is portioning, because even you don't want to, even healthy foods, you want to portion those as well, because is such thing as too much of a good thing. So portion control is definitely something that I've worked with. And what's helped me a lot is that, with portion control, you can actually eat more throughout the day rather than huge meals, separate times. And that's definitely helped me a lot, because I am a snacker, but it's like, snacking on raspberries or snacking on almonds rather than, I don't know, candy. So right. It's just like different things like that definitely make a huge factor in your nutrition goals if you want to reach higher ones, for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. And like Jessie says, it's, garbage in, garbage out, right? And so if you're putting garbage in, then you're not going to feel good and you're not going to be able to perform at your optimal level. And, someone mentioned here, that your skin is glowing. Can you share your skincare routine? And a lot of that has to do also with what you're fueling your body with, right? It's like what you're putting And y'all know we always do our little water challenge. I got my water bottle right here.
Yeah.
Always, something that like either, Shakeology, some sort of, protein shake, anything like that. Water obviously is going to really help. But we can go ahead and answer this question just about your glowing skin. Is there anything
Uh,
in particular that you do other than eat healthy?
sure. I'll grab my skincare
Oh,
stuff.
good. Awesome. And then I'm going to show you all this as well, because this is part of kind of what we do with our in the Pro Cheer Playbook program, is just challenging people to level up their look and do something different with their makeup. And so this is like one of, a couple of the pictures that Jessie posted in the Facebook group as well. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about your skincare.
Yeah. So actually, all of this stuff is considered quote unquote expensive, but I am a bargain shopper. So I love getting things that are available to me. So TJ Maxx and Marshalls does have these brands, but I do start with an aloe face wash. Yeah, because I do love the makeup look. The makeup that you see on the side here, I do love that. But I noticed for me, and how as full out as I dance and being in the sun, that's not going to be the best option for me unless I'm like, indoors. So I do like to try to pay close attention to my skincare. So this is gonna be my face wash, and then I just follow up with uh, hyaluronic acid and vitamin A, C, and E. These are all from Clean Beauty. All of these, and then this is gonna be a serum from Clean Beauty. All of these are Clean Beauty brands. I'm not too sure what the actual retail price of them are because I get them from Marshalls, and it's very very cost effective. So if you guys wanted to save some money there, and that's really what I use.
Okay, so it was the cleanser, and
then you get your toner, which is going to
toner.
be
Okay,
toner here, and then your serum,
the serum. Okay.
and then your moisturizer.
Okay. Awesome. Well, your skin really does look good, but
Well,
I mean,
thank you.
seriously. So, I mean, guys, y'all know that it is definitely skincare. That's super important, making sure you take your
No,
makeup
but your
off at the
diet
end of
for
the
sure.
day. Yes. I mean, every single evening, I'm dead tired after the 11 p.m. news, but without fail, I'm going home and I am cleaning my face. Like, that's like a non-negotiable for me.
Yeah,
But it does, guys, also have a lot to do with what you're fueling your body with. So being
absolutely.
very mindful of eating out and all of that, and working out, like sweating actually helps your pores and all of that stuff as well. So
Mhm.
okay, so I don't want to hold you too long because I know that you've got a lot of people blowing up your phone and you have a busy week ahead of you. But I would love it if you wouldn't mind just sharing some tips, advice to people. You know how it is. Fear, doubt, overwhelm gets the best of people. People might be thinking, oh, well, I don't think that I can do this, because of XYZ, the compare-itis setting in, whatever it is. Just advice that you would have to anyone that is listening, that's thinking about auditioning, but is not quite sure if they should just go for it.
So if your main reason why you don't want to do something is fear, the best way, and like I mentioned, I do coach at some evenings, some acro, tumbling, all of those things that I learned at a young age is the best way to, and I think that's why it's been, pretty good factor to apply to in my life, is that everything that you're afraid of, that extra step, that, that skill or that audition that you're scared to do, the best way to get over it is to do it. And it's easier said than done. Don't get me wrong. I understand where you're coming from when it comes to being feared, having fear of failure, having fear of that no. But there's no better training for that than actually applying yourself and doing it, because there's always going to be oh next year. But when are you going to take that leap of faith and just apply yourself? And you don't know what you are capable of until you're under that specific pressure or in that scenario. So if you really want this to make a reality, you have to put yourself out there. Like, not everyone can be an NFL cheerleader, so not everyone's going to take that leap of faith, but you have to be willing to do so in order to make your dreams a reality. And I think that applies to everything in your life that you want, everything that you apply yourself to. 100, if you pour yourself 100% in, if you don't allow minor setbacks to be, the reason why you quit or stop, and you keep going, you are going to see those huge rewarding factors where you do hit your weight loss goal, you do hit your nutrition goal, you do see your mentality, your mindset change drastically, and you will make your team. But like I mentioned, it's more than just being a dancer. It's so much more than that. And until I could wrap my little 22-year-old head around that. It didn't click for me until I realized all the factors that apply to it. So once this program, I think Janine always says, you will get exactly what you put into it. And I knew that I was investing not only my money into it, but also my time. And I wanted to get my full experience from it. So I took everything super seriously, even if it was something that, like a pirouette class. Like, I know how to do a pirouette, but I still took every little detail that they said, because there's always going to be something you can learn from everyone, regardless if they're a beginner dancer or an experienced dancer. There's going to be some little tidbit or trick or fact or something that'll click for you, that you can learn from anybody. So always take time to listen as much as you are willing to speak. That's one of my best advices there. And just everything that has that doubtful mindset and doubtful, negative connotations in your mind, they will continue to do that even when you take that leap of faith. So why not do it anyways? Because there's always going to be that what if, there's always going to be that it's not going to happen for me. Why, I'm not good enough. So if that's going to constantly be in your head, I just go for it and see what happens and learn from the experiences. And once you take that leap of faith, once you get that experience, if you make it the first year, you could have never had that opportunity if you didn't do it right away. Or, if you don't make it your first year, you have so much more experience, so much more knowledge, so much more understanding of what to do for the following year. Now you have an entire year to prepare for that. So it's just, it's a great experience. If you really want this for your life, you can have it. You can be on that field. You can be in the uniform. You can, be in a photo shoot, cheering on your favorite team, being around so many talented and like-minded people. You can have that for yourself, but you have to take that initial step. Everyone can give you the tools. Everyone can tell you what to do, but at the end of the day, it's your job to apply it.
So good. So good. Oh my goodness, guys. I do want to open it up for Q&A. So if anyone has a question, you're getting a lot of love over here. Just thank you, Jessie. That's from Malika. Thank you so much for taking time to share your journey and answer our questions. You are an inspiration. Here's another one. Thank you, Jessie. Love your story and your encouraging words. Just so much love over here in the chat. So thank y'all so much. Really, really appreciate that. And so I would love to, if we could just wrap it up with, if you had to go back to your younger self, 2019, when you first kind of started this journey, if there was some advice that you could give yourself, so something that you now know that you just didn't realize back then, either about the audition process, about you, anything at all, what would it be?
Prepare. Prepare. I didn't prepare. I literally went in, I graduated college, and I had 2-3 months before I flew out to Dallas for my first round, and I practiced and learned my audition routine 2 days before. And I was like, and what happened? I messed up. And woo, shocker. So it's so I was like, I just thought I was too cool for school. I was like, I can just jump in, make any team I want. And it was just, I just wish, definitely, if I can turn back time, I kind of wish I don't, because I really like where I am right now. But if I could, I would, and I would definitely prepare. I would, I could have had that routine done months ahead. I could have had every skill memorized and perfected like the back of my hand. I could have took classes to prepare learning really fast and intricate routines. And I could have done my research to know what type of routines they do, so I'd been more prepared for it. It's so many things that I could have. I literally walked into it blind. I could have researched where to go, because I got lost my first day. So many it was just such a rookie first ever auditioning experience. Every checkbox that you can make do wrong, I didn't have my ID on me. It was just so many. It was a mess. It was just a mess.
But you know what? I mean, things like that. And I always say, the past, we can't change it, but we have to learn from it. Right. And so you
Mhm.
definitely learn from that experience to make sure you would never put yourself in that situation again.
Yeah.
And then not only that, making sure that you win each time more prepared, but then really deciding, okay, I'm really going to go 110% in and joining the program. And like you said, if I'm going to join it, if I'm going to spend time, if I'm going to spend money, then I'm going to go all in. And that's what people, I think, forget sometimes, is that they put their little pinky toe in the water, like, okay, I think I'm going to try to audition for a team, but they don't go all in. And
Yeah.
you are truly going all in every single day. So, I mean, and I see it on your social, and I'm just really excited for year 2 for you, because in my opinion, your vet year or having vet status is just a whole nother level.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, for sure. You get to enjoy it. Really, you just get to enjoy it, which is really nice. So I know people probably want to follow you. So where can they find you on social?
I believe all my socials are the exact same. So Jessie, Jessie, the letter J, Castillo, right there. There it is.
Yes, of course, I'm prepared. So please, guys, show some love and support for Jesse. Send up some extra prayers for him as far as auditions. So right now you are in audition week, right?
Yeah. So not tomorrow. So they split us up into 2 groups. The first group is pewter, which is the one of our colors, the gray color, and then I'm in red group. So pewter group went tonight. That's why my phone's been blowing up, because I'm sure they have so many things to tell me. 7 missed calls, no worries. And then I go Monday. I'm sorry, on Thursday. So when I go in, we go in, take our headshots right away, stretch, conditioning workshop, run the preliminary routine, do a technique across the floor, and then we learn the new routine. So
Yes.
a lot for day 1, and then the
Yes.
same process next week, or
Right.
similar. Mm-hmm.
You are in it to win it. And remember, everyone, screenshot this, post it on social, tag Sideline Prep, tag Jesse in it. Your name will go into the drawing for our $1,000 scholarship. This is the exact same program that Jesse graduated from, our very first gent ever to graduate from the Pro Cheer Playbook program. Just wanted to throw up some comments just so you can see the love that is coming in here. Thanking me for a wonderful day 2, obviously because of you. Thank you for your transparency and being real about everything. So that's from Lynn. Yes, we've got some good lucks in here for you.
Oh, thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much, Jesse. You're going to rock it. I agree. Some more good lucks and everything else. So I'm not going to hold you. I know that you want to return those phone calls, but I just want to say thank you. Like you said earlier, every time we ask of you to just spend some time and share your knowledge and your expertise and the do's and the don'ts, you are always willing. You always say yes. And we really, really appreciate that. We're so proud of you. We love seeing you and everything that you're doing on the field with the Bucks. And we literally, I can't wait to see what's next for you. So congratulations on an amazing rookie year. And thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me, and good luck to everyone trying out for a team. Everything's going to be exactly where it needs to, even if it takes 4 times.
Yeah, exactly. Everything happens in perfect timing, guys. And Jesse is proof of that. So good luck this week. Keep me posted. You have my cell phone number, so let me know how things are going.
I do. I'll give you live updates as it goes.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you, Janine. Have a good one.
All right. Awesome, guys. What a wonderful way to wrap up day 2. So excited. Jesse's such an inspiration throughout the entire experience with the Pro Cheer Playbook program. He would help people level up. They would see his videos and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to be like Jesse. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it takes. It takes putting in the work. It takes, sacrificing. It takes changing your diet. It takes, just listening to other people and being willing to do something different in order to accomplish and get something that you've never done. And that's something that you have to remember, guys. Where you are now and the things that you've done to this point will not get you to the next level, because if they would, you'd already be at that next level. So what got you here won't get you there. So you have to be willing to do something different to get to another level. Okay. So I just want to remind you all of that. And for tonight, the big common theme here is making sure that you focus on how you're presenting yourself, both in person and on paper. So before the audition and during the audition as well. So really quick, I do want to make sure that we announce our day 2 winner. So let me go ahead and show that on the screen. So Ashley, yay, congratulations. She's been just as active tonight as she was the other night. So really appreciate her showing up. So Ashley not only showed up live yesterday, but she did her homework. She was very active the entire time last night. And so she is actually going to win a one-on-one session with any coach of her choice on any topic of her choice. So we have one-on-one sessions for dance and choreography, freestyle, technique, the interview round. If you want us to review your resume, your application, if you want to do a mock interview, whatever you want. If you want us to give you a consultation on your look, whatever it is, we are here for you, Ashley. So congratulations to you. You are our winner. Super, super excited for you. Also, as a reminder, if you want to join our text family, I'm going to put this on the screen below. Feel free to just literally text Pro Challenge to 804-49-GO-PRO. So 804-49-GO-PRO. We will give you updates and all of the goodness to make sure that you know exactly what it is that we're up to and what we have planned and what we have going on. And as a reminder, if you want your name entered in yet again to that drawing for $1,000 for our Pro Cheer Playbook program to grab that scholarship, all you have to do is tag us in any of your posts about the challenge at Sideline Prep and use the hashtag SP Pro Cheer Challenge. And it's literally that simple. So again, I just want to congratulate all of you all for showing up for yourselves and for being here and for taking this necessary step to get to the next level, because you have to be willing to do something different to accomplish something different. Also wanted to give a quick little shout out to Sadie, who has really helped me organize and plan out this entire challenge for you guys. The total technique idea came from our coach, our director of coaching, Leanne, but then literally Sadie took it and ran with it and has been instrumental in us being able to put this together. I literally have I feel like it's more than a full-time job here being an anchor woman. And so I've really been leaning on her to help me throughout this entire process. So just wanted to give her a shout out and say thank you to her as well. And then as a reminder, tomorrow, make sure you all join. This is like one of our more popular sessions is when Jeanette comes on, because we're going to make sure that we give you all workouts and different things that you can do as a dancer to make sure that you are strengthening your toes and your feet and your legs to be able to execute and perform like a pro at auditions. So we're going to be talking about workouts as well as eating habits and all of that to make sure that you are incorporating a very healthy lifestyle every single day of your life. And that is about it. So thanks again, guys, for being here. Really appreciate you all showing up for yourselves, being here tonight for Jessie. And again, we will see you tomorrow night. And don't forget, you've got to show up live on Thursday in order to grab that scholarship for $1,000. And then don't forget, we have our bonus day on Saturday and our VIP bonus day on Monday. And I'll explain all of the details on how to get and to become a part of our VIP day on Thursday when we meet. All right, that is it. All right, everyone, have a great evening. And I will see you guys tomorrow night. Same place, same time. I'm Janine Samuels signing off for Sideline Prep and all of our Sideline Prep coaches, wishing you success and the best in all that you do. All right, make it a great evening, and I'll see y'all tomorrow night.